Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live and the weekend update for the last weekend before Christmas, which is stocked cram full of orchestral and chamber and organ works, which will all be related to Christmas themes. So let's have at them right away, and let me start out by wishing you a Merry Christmas, and will conclude by wishing you a Merry Christmas. I do not know that we will have another update or roundup before Christmas Day itself, although there may be a few individual posts. The first thing I want to tell you about is starting very soon. It's starting in just about an hour from now, or an hour and a half. It's currently 5 o'clock in the evening European time. And this concert is at 6:30 in the evening European time. It's coming from the Sao Paolo Symphony Orchestra in Sao Paolo, Brazil. So it's their Friday afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon concert, which is 6:30 in the evening here in Europe, which is a couple hours earlier, 12:30 lunchtime on the East Coast and 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast. And this is one which I really encourage you to tune into, because they will have in the first half of the program this top international flautist, flute player, Emmanuel Paval, playing Lux Stellarum, a concerto, which means light of the stars in Latin. This was composed for Paval to play by the Estonian composer Orchestra. And it's an innovative piece which has the special effects to it, including things like sounds that are made by the flautist himself, but it sounds absolutely cosmic. And that's not all. There will also be the overture and Hallelujah chorus to open from the Messiah to open and end the concert. And in the second half of the concert, they will open with Franck Martin's in Terra, Peace on Earth. So you're getting the light of the stars, peace on earth, and Handel's Messiah overture to start, and Handel's Messiah's Hallelujah chorus to end it. This is one you want to check out. And so I gave you the time. We will give you the link as soon, not long after this live stream is done. Go get it. It's free of charge. Okay. All right. Now, okay. If you are not convinced by that buildup, hold on a second. I need a little sip here. It's Yule Moose, non-alcoholic. It's what people have in Sweden. Before I leave off that, I want to show you an image. I was so excited I forgot to even show you this. This is the flautist Emmanuel Paval. He's been the chief flautist at the Berlin Philharmonic since the 1990s. There was a wave of new hires at the Berlin Philharmonic in the early 90s as the post-World War II generation were leaving. And at the age of 20, he was the youngest of the new hires that they brought in. So now, if that doesn't convince you to tune it in, you have several other choices. You have 3 other choices this evening. The first is this one. Art Bene will be live streaming from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, which did a concert on Wednesday of Christmas Gregorian style, and this time it's Christmas in Baroque style, with soloists from the Moscow Virtuosi Chamber Orchestra that's been around for a long time. They're top people: an oboe, 2 violins, a viola, cello, double bass, and of course the cathedral organ, which will be played by an early music specialist organist whose name is Tatiana Andrianova. That's tonight at 7 o'clock in the evening European time, which is 9 o'clock Moscow time, which is when the concert's happening there, their local time. 1 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. They'll be playing music by Bach, Telemann, Vivaldi, Balbastra, and Heineken. No, not the beer. Heineken, H-E-I-N-I-C-H-E-N. Okay, now if that doesn't do it for you, a half an hour after that, 7 o'clock in the evening. No, actually, yeah, it's a little after that. At 7:30 in the evening in London which is 8:30 in the evening in Europe, 2:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 11:30 in the morning on the West Coast. You can tune in instead to live stream from the August Wigmore Hall in London, live streaming the Gesualdo 6. Now, the 6 in the Gesualdo 6 are a countertenor, 2 tenors, a baritone, and 2 basses, and a partridge in a pear. No, not a partridge in a pear tree. Anyway, and they'll be singing an even longer list of pieces, all about celebrating the Epiphany a little early, like about 3 weeks early. But anyway, and that goes from Gregorian chant to Praetorius to Palestrina to Poulenc to Arville Park, not forgetting more contemporary people like Judith Bingham and Bob Chilcott and more. So this is what you get. Now, it's free of charge, but they do really earnestly ask you to make a donation to help support these high quality live streams they do, if it's at all possible. And I have a photo for you of the Gesualdo 6, putting up a little late. You know, my images are just a little bit behind the descriptions today. But, you know, what the heck, it's there. And I have one person watching. They're not on Instagram. I don't know where you are watching us from, but you are most welcome to be with us today. And I'm happy that you're there. I'm supposed to be able to see you in the chat on this multi-streaming platform, but I can't. So welcome. Good to have you with us. Now, if the Gesualdo 6, if that's not enough for you, okay, let's say you're too busy during all this time, and anyway, the times are all wrong for you. Well, then you can finish your day with Canon Martin Green doing the weekly 1 in the afternoon in San Diego, California, live stream organ recital from St. Paul's Cathedral there. And Canon Martin Green is one of the most articulate, engaging live stream organist out there that I know. He gives wonderful explanations of what he's going to play, why he's going to play it, without leaving you in the musicological dust, as I like to say. So he's a great guy. I assume he's playing Christmas tunes because it's St. Paul's Cathedral, for heaven's sake. And, but he never tells us what the program is in advance. That's just not the way they do it. So once again, the timing on that is, and this is free of charge as well. It's at 1 o'clock in San Diego, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, 10 o'clock in the evening on the West Coast. And if you'd like to see the organ that he's going to be playing, it's the largest and most long-standing organ in the Southern California, at least San Diego area, with about a little under 5,000 pipes. And it was built, I think, in 1969. It was installed by the Aeolian Skinner people, but then completely rebuilt in 2012 by the Quimby pipe organ. Both of those organs have. Sorry about that. Both of those organs have opus numbers to them, which I don't have in front of me because this is just the weekend update, the brief one. So that's what we have for you today on Friday. The Sao Paolo Orchestra, the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, the Wigmore Hall in London, and Canon Martin Green in San Diego. That's just the first day of the weekend, and we then move on to the rest of the weekend. And the first thing I want to tell you about in the rest of the weekend on Saturday, the big issue that's going to come up for you is this one. Do you want to hear some Bruckner? Now, everybody doesn't always want to do that. He's not everybody's favorite, but you can. But on Saturday night, European time, but you have to choose. Either it's going to be Herbert Blomstedt conducting, and he's a legendary conductor who's been around since the 1950s. He's 97 years old. There he's in the picture on the left. You don't get the pictures on Instagram. Subscribe to us on one of our other platforms, and you will. That's Facebook, YouTube, X, or LinkedIn. Or look at our replays on TikTok and Threads. So there. But anyway, what I'm saying is that's Herbert Blomstedt on the left, a long-standing, internationally renowned Swedish conductor. He's going to be conducting this Bruckner's Ninth, which was Bruckner's farewell to life, his last symphony that he literally was writing on his deathbed and didn't really complete. You have that chance to do it. It's with the Berlin Philharmonic, and the time for that one is, make sure I get that right, is at 7 o'clock in the evening European time, 1 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 10 in the morning on the West Coast. Herbert Blomstedt's not going to be around forever, folks. So this is one of the remaining opportunities you have over the next few years, let us assume, at least to enjoy him. And he's a very vigorous conductor. In that picture, he's seated while he's conducting. And I saw him conduct that way in Stockholm in September of this year, doing Brahms's first. And it was terrific. You know, he's a great guy. Come on, he knows what he's doing. So there's that. It will cost you €9.90 or $11 US to enjoy this. Now, if that's not the Bruckner you want to hear, a little later at 8 o'clock European time, 2 o'clock on the East Coast, and 11 o'clock on the West Coast, you can hear. Hold on, you can hear Philippe Jourdan, who is the much younger conductor and very vigorous and dynamic and dramatic conductor of the Vienna Opera House. Yeah, opera conductors are always dramatic. Anyway, and he will be with the Cologne Philharmonic, and they'll be playing Bruckner's Eighth Symphony. His 80-minute long, that's the whole program, his greatest success. This was the symphony which convinced his worst critic, Johannes Brahms, that Bruckner, whether we like him or not, actually is or was a genius. And that's free of charge. So your choice is the Berlin Phil with Blomstedt doing the Ninth, or the Cologne Phil with Jourdan doing the Eighth. And I will mention Alan Gilbert conducted the Eighth with the Hamburg Philharmonic several weeks ago, and then Andres Nelson conducted it last week with the Berlin Philharmonic. So, you know, this is the 200th anniversary of Bruckner's birth, so everybody's going nuts with it. Now, aside from that, there are a number of other choices that you have on this weekend, one of which is, and I'm not sure if it's all live, but I think it is. Where is it now? Well, first, there is the Beryozka Dance Ensemble, which is being live streamed by the Moscow Philharmonic at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard, 5 o'clock European time, 7 o'clock in the evening Moscow time, 11 in the morning on the East Coast, and 8 o'clock on the West Coast. I don't know anything more about it except that they are Russian dancers who have been around for like 40 years. So they're an institution in Russian culture. If you want to see some real Russian dancers, this is the way to do it. In addition to that, you have a couple other choices on Saturday. Composer's Voice, which is this excellent group in that does weekly live streams of contemporary composers, is doing a live stream, which is a Happy Holidays live stream. They tell us they're going to be they'll have music from Holland Hobson, Alyssa Wright, whom they've had on her program before, Charlie Rao, Carrie Lee Pearson, and by composers like Katya Stanislavskaya, Karl Heinz Stockhausen, and Charles Ives, of course. So that's another choice that you have on Saturday. That's at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 11 in the morning on the West Coast, and 8 o'clock in the evening. So if you don't want to watch all that Bruckner, you can watch Happy Holidays from Composer's Voice, which will be something completely different. Okay, and then if none of that satisfies you, to end your day, the Kennedy Center Millennium Stage will be live streaming the Beltway Brass Quintet, a jazz-oriented group, which surely must be playing brass quintets at Christmas time means brass quintets at Christmas time. This is at 6 in the evening in Washington, D.C., 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast, midnight in Europe, and 10 o'clock Sunday morning down under in Australia. If you wake up in Australia Sunday morning and say, hey, I'd love to hear a brass quintet. I don't know if that will happen for you. Okay, I can I can show you a picture of this brass quintet. I don't have pictures of everybody, but I do have a picture of this Beltway brass quintet. And there they are. It takes a moment to get them up on the screen. So it's kind of unusual to get a quintet, and also one this one is sort of oriented towards jazz harmonies, we're told. So you can check it out. It's free of charge, though. What do you have to lose? Finally, one more event this weekend, and that will be on Sunday. We don't have any other concerts or orchestras, chamber music, anything on Sunday, but St. Eustache Church will be, as usual, live streaming. It's Sunday afternoon concert with their chief resident organist, Baptiste Florian Mal-Ouvrard, the man in the red socks, which really show up on the live stream because they give you separate views of the hands on the keyboards and the feet and all that. And this is a very popular series. Hundreds of French people show up every Sunday at 5 o'clock for this organ recital, because the organ, it's the equal of the great organ at Notre Dame Cathedral. It's got over 100 stops. It's got 7,952 pipes. It's a glorious organ. And it has a 5 manual organ that they're playing. So this is it. And he'll be playing two pieces by Louis-Claude Daquin, Noel 7 and Noel 10. You actually see them in the picture that I've got up for you if you're following us on most of our live stream platforms. Noel 7 and Noel 10, which means Christmas 7 and 10. Pastoral by César Franck, and César Franck is always good in a French church. And then Marcel Dupre's variations on the theme of Christmas. So that is what is going on the weekend. There is one more occasion that I want to mention to you, because it's going to be on Monday, and if I don't know that we'll have another roundup live stream of everybody next week, because it'll be the day before Christmas Eve. On Monday, December 23rd, at the usual 6 in the evening, Washington, D.C. time, 3 in the afternoon on the West Coast, midnight in Europe, but it might be worth staying up for if you're into this kind of thing, especially if you're an American over in Europe. And 10 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, the Kennedy Center Millennial Stage will be live streaming its tradition since 1971, the Messiah Sing-Along. And you are welcome to sing along as well. This is one of Washington, D.C.'s most popular free holiday events. They will have a number of guest soloists. The chorus will be 150 members strong. The audience will be singing along with them. It's this is if you didn't have time to get to a Messiah sing along before Christmas because you've been too busy doing all your Christmas errands and all, well, this is your opportunity to do so and to share in the ambiance of this concert hall. These are the people, assembled whom you'll be singing along with for this occasion. Well, that wraps up our weekend update for this time around, folks. And I want to take a moment, in case I do not talk to you again before Christmas is past, to on behalf of Access Arts Live, to wish you a merry live stream Christmas. And as the song says, let your heart be light. And we're so grateful for all of the followers that we have, 1, 2 at a time, developed on Facebook, on X, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Threads, and on LinkedIn. And we're looking forward to more of them. I hope you know that every one of these live stream offerings that we do and every post that we put up is our gift to you, not only at Christmas time, but every time we do it, of as much as possible, free moments of truth and beauty to inspire you, to uplift you, or maybe just to give you a great time, created by performing artists who I assure you are pouring their heart, minds, and souls in an act of love into creating that, to share it with you live, together with everybody in the in-person audience and with all of us around the world in the global audience. That's what it's all about. And I think it makes it more exciting. And sometimes offer you views which you cannot get if you're watching in person. So I hope that one or more or any of these live streams this weekend contributes to your enjoyment of the Christmas season. They all seem to be about Christmas, coming at it from one direction and another, whether it's Baroque, whether it's contemporary composers, whether it's organs, whether it's orchestras. It's just more and more and more Christmas. Well, except for the Bruckner, but that's okay. Bruckner is Bruckner. I told a friend of mine the other day about all the Bruckner that was being played, and he said, Bruckner, why are they playing? But anyway, but in honor of his anniversary, there's still, I don't know how much I don't know if they'll stop once we get to 2025 or not. And we probably will do a New Year's roundup for sure at some point in time. And there are some other things I want to talk to you about. One other thing I want to suggest to you, if you are one of those who follow Access Arts Live, we would love it if you would go to the Access Arts Live page, go to the upper right-hand corner and click on the 3 dots, where you can then invite all of your friends with one click to also follow Access Arts Live. And if you think, if you enjoy the content that we're laying at your feet, so all you have to do is click and go, you may have friends who would enjoy that too. And it could be like another extra little Christmas gesture to them, like, hey, for Christmas, I want you to have a chance to enjoy all these live streams that I've been hearing about, which I think are so great. So we wish you a very Merry Christmas. Let your heart be light, and let the live streams flow.